So welcome to this week's Spotlight Saturday. And this is going to be, I think, quite a short episode. I just wanted to respond to the comments and feedback primarily on last week's episode where I was talking about what's next for Everyday Alex. Myself and Jenny and Miranda, who are the two editors that do an amazing job supporting this, I think we were quite surprised by how many comments there were versus the number of views on the video. That it was really, I think, for us, quite touching to see how much people care about a vlog that's only been going for a few months. So I wanted just to respond to some of the suggestions, some of the ideas, and some of where that's kind of landing in terms of my thinking of how we move forwards. So kind of overwhelmingly, the feedback was that people love the Therapeutic Tuesday sessions. That's obviously reflected in the views. Those episodes get a lot more views. It is partly because they get featured in the newsletters. But I think they seem to be... and they seem to be kind of landing in a way that other things we haven't done. And that makes sense to me. I love working as a practitioner because I think that process of change and transformation is it's a very beautiful and magical thing. So I think partly just observing that I think is powerful, but also it sounds like some of the ideas are landing in a way there that they perhaps don't if they're just me kind of talking to camera like this. So we are going to develop that part of the format. Without giving too much of a game plan away, I'm in talks with somebody that I am potentially going to bring on as a full-time documentary maker to work specifically. We might change the name and change the format of the Tuesday sessions, but to work on a weekly episode where we go much more into following the journey that people go on when they do therapeutic work. So more of a kind of documentary style and ongoing sessions. And we will put out a video. I suspect that will start early next year. And we will put out a video at some point in the next month or two, kind of explaining what we're looking for in people to be participating and part of that. So we do have something I think I mentioned last week. I've been wanting to do something like that for a number of years now. And the feedback, I think, gives us the confidence that would be something really worth investing some resource and energy into trying to develop. So that's that. I think we are going to go to 5 days. I think Miranda and Jenny are quite pleased to hear that. And I think I'm going to think next week. I often find that I get clarity when I don't think about something, and then it kind of permeates, or whatever the word is, kind of cooks in the back of my mind, and then it comes back into my kind of thinking with more clarity. But I think we'll kind of keep the format of kind of daily things that we focus on, but I think we'll change some ingredients of that. So one of the things I want to do is I think the reusing excerpts from the Fatigue Super Conference, I think has been helpful for some, but I think what would be even better would be to start to feature some new content. So we're going to see if we can do some bits more with the Optimal Health Clinic practitioner teams and do some kind of soundbite 10-minute kind of pieces on specific areas. And I want to bring more of the nutrition work that we do as well, to just give more insight into how that integrates perhaps into the psychology and the kind of other pieces. I'm going to do some videos going over more of the fundamentals as well. Initially with Everyday Alex, I was kind of conscious of not repeating too much content that's already out there. And I did over 100 Facebook Lives over a couple of years through the Optimal Health Clinic Facebook page. And there's a lot of content there. And so towards the end of that format, it got quite hard to keep thinking about, well, what's a new kind of way of kind of looking at things? And I think what I'm going to do is with Everyday Alex, I'm going to go back to some really clear fundamentals and try and create a kind of long-lasting, quite definitive videos on certain areas that can then live in the kind of library, and they can be things that we can really reference back to at different points. So you might have noticed that I've been trying to not repeat, and I'm actually going to take the opposite approach and go, right, how can we make a really clear video, for example, on what is maladaptive stress response? Let's make a really clear video on 3 stages of recovery, for example. So although the content that's out there on that stuff I think is pretty good, I think there's an opportunity to make it even better. And I'm also going to broaden, and this will happen over time because I'm going to kind of focus on that content initially, but I also want to look at broadening a bit more beyond just the kind of fatigue work. And I have kind of been doing that, but I particularly want to get into some of the work I've been developing around our relationship with ourselves and relationships more broadly. Some more work around how this kind of inner work really meets the rest of our life. So I think there's a big evolution in terms of content there. And I'm thinking of a kind of, 12 to 18 months kind of plan here in terms of how stuff evolves. That won't all happen overnight. But we really do appreciate the feedback. Thank you. And I'm really excited to see how this can develop and this can evolve. It's been a fascinating process the last couple of months. I'm really proud of the fact we'll have put out 49 episodes in 49 days. And I'm excited of where we can go with this. And I really do appreciate the fact that we seem to have built some community and audience around this series. So thank you very much for your support. Tomorrow's episode is a Soul Food Sunday, brand new recovery story. It's a really interesting one, actually, because there's some elements in there which are a little, we haven't quite covered before, bits on PTSD, and actually on yoga as being a kind of key piece in supporting the healing and recovery process. So I think, although yoga's always been part of the OHE approach, we haven't quite gone into it in such a specific way. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that tomorrow here on Everyday Alex on Soul Food Sunday.